Welcome back, CTKS students and Elite Service members. Before we get into the markets, a quick update. TradingView is preventing updates to the indicator names, so it looks like the indicator names haven't been updated because TradingView isn't allowing it. How you tell if you got the current month, you just look at the back color of the indicator. And currently, the following indicators have been released: Bitcoin, Total, Ethereum, ADA, Solana, Doge, and XRP. If you're new to the service and you don't know how to update the indicator, there are a couple of ways, but the easiest way is to just get this background when your indicator is on. You'll also see a little purple circle there. What you basically do is just right-click and update this script, and then it will update. You'll notice it's gone from blue to green. This is very important because what I've seen is some of these indicator names have not been updating. Bitcoin for March has updated, that's terrific, but just don't rely on it. If you see an update in the indicator and you know it's released, just look for the green background. To give you another illustration, let's look at total crypto market cap. So when we turn on the indicator, we can see that little line is telling us that we can update it. And what I do is just right-click and update the script. And now, kaping, all done. It's pretty cool that we're seeing the indicator names actually updating. But I can't do that on the back end, at least it's in the front end. Okay, let's get into the market because it's turned around and it's pretty hot right now. One thing to just remember, on Truth Social, Donald Trump put out a post: a US crypto reserve is coming, XRP, Solana, and ADA. This was 6 hours ago. 6 hours from here put the price back to here. You can see a big pump occurred before that post actually came out. And Donald Trump also said Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, will be at the heart of the reserve. The issue is smart money always profits first. The markets were moving up before that announcement by Donald Trump on Truth Social, and this is actually from Truth Social. A question I got recently: what dictates upper bank and lower bank plays, and how do we know that they're moving in between them? A really good question. One of the things to note, recently Litecoin was on fire and BNB was very solid. It just literally didn't sell down with the rest of the market. They are currently lower bank because they went up too high. Solana, XRP, and ADA are currently upper bank because they went down too low. We've seen some pretty interesting things when it comes to terms of recovery. ADA and XRP, and typically Doge as well, tend to lead us out and show that the crypto market is recovering. And then the rest of the cryptos catch up to them in time. Doge used to be in there with ADA and XRP, but it's likely that Doge has suffered a lot of fallout from Elon's association with the Department of Government Efficiency, which is laying off a lot of people. The key to remember, as Bitcoin goes, and Bitcoin is this blue line here, that's the directional correlation. As Bitcoin goes, so too does the entire crypto market. I'll just zoom out and give you a bit of an indication of how it shows that Bitcoin's directional association actually controls the crypto market. Now, what you can see here, as we came up, the crypto market was recovering a little, but as it pushed down, Bitcoin pushed the entire crypto market down with it. This is one thing that you must keep your eye on. If Bitcoin is coming down, everything is coming down. XRP, ADA, Solana, every single thing. I see a lot of people who don't understand this law, this rule, talk about, oh, you know, my particular thing is going to go up and Bitcoin is going to come down. Check the manual. As a CTKS student, you cannot think that way. That's how retail thinks, and retail gets slaughtered. You are an institution of one, and we understand that when the fear and greed index gets really, really low, that is the time, that's the ultimate time to get in, especially in terms of your investing account. We got literally down to 10 in terms of crypto fear and greed, and it's been recovering ever since. These are the times to get into the market and not out of the market, but it certainly doesn't feel that way. The question is it up only for now? What we've seen is just a recovery from a very overextended level of fear. This big drop down was a huge drop down. It's just rattled the cages of so many people. So one thing that you want to keep in mind, when retail is looking at a variety of different moving averages and price violates those averages, they're going to get freaked out because they don't know about the structure inside the market. Now, what specifically do I mean by that? We were looking at the Bitcoin chart and all of these moving averages, and I said if we get above all these MAs, retail is going to go all in and more, and if we start to drop out here, retail will go all out. If we come down to here, mass panic, and that 10 reading will be on the cards. But however, there's all this CTKS structure that exhibits itself inside the market. When the fear and greed comes down to catastrophically low levels, that's a signal to us that everything is upside down. At the greatest point of uncertainty is the greatest profitability. And for sure, the markets have rallied since that point. This is why you cannot keep inside the retail camp. You will get financially cut to death. The crypto market is incredibly forgiving. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that when Bitcoin comes up, we can see outperformance in the alts, almost to the point that it actually wipes out all of the losses that have occurred over literally months, and that can occur in just days. This is what I mean by I say the crypto market is incredibly forgiving. The stock market is unforgiving. If you find that stocks have gone down and down and down and down, it can take years for them to recover. Inside the crypto market exponentially implodes and then it exponentially explodes. And that can happen literally over the span of a week. It is incredibly forgiving. That's why I love the crypto market. Please let me know in the comments, were you stacking your investment bag when things were coming down and down and down? And if you did so when the fear and greed index reached 10, please let me know. That was undoubtedly the best possible time to buy, but the hardest time to buy, unless you think institutionally, because we know that these double-digit gains are coming. Unfortunately, what's going to happen now is retail will pile in to these double-digit gains and think they're going to go on forever. But what happens? Price moves in a wave. It comes up, it goes down. That's what it does. As CTKS practitioners, do not get sucked in to price not moving in a wave. All the all up, all down scenarios are retail. In Friday's session, inside the main markets, we saw a lot of red followed by a lot of green. And what we've seen right now is that Nvidia came up 4%, Apple up, Amazon up, Tesla up, but that followed a very negative day. What happened? Nvidia went down 8% and then came up 4%. That's still a downtrend. This is price moving in a wave. And unfortunately, retail just looks at the color and says, oh, all in, it's green. Or if it's red, all out. That is a terrible way of making a purchasing decision. The other thing that I've been keeping my eye on as China's market and Russia's market have been coming up, we've seen the exact opposite inside the crypto market and of course inside the major market indices. As the Chinese market is starting to top out and the Russian market is starting to show signs of weakness, I believe we're going to get international transfers from these markets back into the US market and of course crypto. Please keep your eye on the interdependencies of markets at a global and macro level. The thing to know is just where the structural levels are, and price is always moving between structural levels. When you get a mass exodus of shorts, when the shorts get liquidated, they push the price up. And when you get cascading shorts after a 10 fear and greed reading, This is the kind of thing that does happen inside markets. But remember the concept of normalization. Everything tends to normalize over time. So you can get these panic-based movements. Now, why was it a panic-based movement? Well, basically around the 86,000, there was a lot of structure here. We dipped underneath that, which looked like structure was breaking, and they pushed it the other way. The institutional players came in and wrecked retail. But the key to remember, it's all structurally based anyway. If you have structural failures, you're going down, you're going to get NSA or negative structural attraction to the levels below. If they hold, you'll get a revisiting of higher structural levels. Now, what is important for us to look at right now? We can see Bitcoin is currently 94,120. This 95,000 level of structural overhead resistance, we need to get through that. And there are a couple around that 94,600 mark. So in order to contain and sustain all of this positive price momentum, and don't forget, price is always moving in a wave. You can see it here, it moves in a wave, but people don't believe it does. Not so with our community. We absolutely understand, rock solid, how price moves. It's always moving in a wave. So if we can't get above, we're going to the levels below. If we can't hold that level below, we're going to the next one down. If we have these particular gaps inside the market structure, that means that we can structurally overshoot these levels. And what's going to be happening now? There were a ton of shorts that were taken out of the crypto market. Now the market will be going long. The markets do not listen to stories. The markets do not watch the news. And we've seen $570 million worth of shorts getting liquidated over the past 24 hours. But the longs are also getting wrecked in the process. We've had nearly $1 billion worth of liquidations. This is really significant. And don't forget, the tariffs are coming very close to being implemented on the 4th US time. And unfortunately, one person who thought they had a sure thing definitely did, but not in the way that they thought. They lost $40 million in one liquidation. Oh, that's just terrible. One of the things in the crypto market, it is very forgiving. Oh, look, Fartcoin is ripping. But quite seriously, if you're doing leverage trading, you must be really, really careful because it is never a sure thing. That's why I suggest you become a master at spot, and that's what we focus on inside our community. And if you do that, then you can go across to leverage trading if you want, but just be really careful. It's a wild animal and it sure bites. TradingView is definitely having problems. XRP has been released, but you can see there's no update. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is just to refresh the page. If you refresh the page, you may see the indicator update, but if it doesn't, and it's not currently doing so, what you can do is just remove that particular indicator, then go across to indicators down to invite only, and just scroll down and just re-add it. And you can see it's updated now. This is one of the problems with TradingView. They've done a range of changes and all of them are pretty bad. Actually, it reminds me of the days when Microsoft did any update, it just wrecked functionality. Now, when we look at XRP, we can see that there are a couple of key levels that you need to keep your eye on. But what's happening inside XRP's price structure is an interaction with Bitcoin and total crypto market cap. When we look across at Ethereum, we saw that big movement that came up through Bitcoin. But look at all this structure from the current price 25.16 up to 25.30. Just keep in mind, everything is structurally based and structurally biased. If we get a push up, we're always going to interact with structure. So the key is to just know where it is. There is definitely a lot of upwards momentum inside the crypto market at the current time. But just be aware, price is always moving in a wave. It always waves up and waves down. It's possible that we could get more upwards momentum, but just remember we took off very, very substantially. That means that we anticipate momentum to the upside, but it's always important to just bear in mind what the market makers do. They're always moving price in a wave to capture both the shorts inside the market and the longs inside the market. It may seem fairly straightforward by looking at liquidation heat maps where price will go, but don't bet it. There are a lot of times that price just doesn't go the way that people think it should. And of course, it can't, because that way, if people always knew where the price was going, there would be no uncertainty. If there's no uncertainty, there is no return. If there's no return, hey, guess what? People don't invest, they don't trade, they don't care, because there's no return. So we can see that there are still a large number of lower price positions, and typically what market makers do is they fling price up, fling it down. You can see it all the time. It's not hard to see. It's in front of you. For example, we came down and then we just did a big shoot up. We came down, shot up, shot down, shot up. This is what we do inside the market all of the time. And this is a pretty sweet green God candle, there's no question about it. Depending on what time frame you're actually looking at, you can form cases for an upwards movement or a downwards movement, but it's always a structural movement. So if you just see what's happening with structure, that's where you can go from. And remember, the market doesn't watch the news, retail does. A key point to just keep in mind, the Trump tariffs will take effect on the 4th of March. That is not too far away. We've often seen that price can come up before major events and then retrace. Just remember, price is always moving in a wave. If you understand the wave-based function of price, it won't freak you out as much. But then if you layer that with structure, it becomes a much easier thing to manage. Remember, you don't have to have certainty, you just need a system to deal with uncertainty. A lot of people want certainty inside financial markets. If it was certain you would get 0% return, that's for certain. Maybe put another way, uncertainty is responsible for your return. So if you want a big 1 billion X return, guess what? You need massive uncertainty. You actually want that in order to get the large returns. But of course, everything is structurally based. And the next time you see a 10 reading on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, it may be a little tap on the shoulder. Hey, pay attention to this. It might be time to really lay in heavily. But it won't feel like that to you, because the red is very scary. It's the nature of red. It's like, oh, but it could go down more. That's why we need to cross-triangulate things. Just keep the Crypto Fear and Greed Index in mind. And we can see currently it's moved from 10 up to 26. But just something else to keep in mind, when it does get really low, it tends to wobble around these areas. So we may come down to around 10 again if we're lucky. Just all you need to do is to keep your eyes on structure. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.